So, good morning or good night, depending on where you are in the world, and welcome to another interview of the Shield Dude on a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm joined by the frontman of Soror Dolorosa, Andy Julia. How are you, Andy, today?
Hello, everybody. I'm very happy to talk with you today. I'm very good. Today is evening in France. I'm living like 2 hours from Paris in the countryside in my house, and I'm very pleased to speak with you about the next Soror Dolorosa album.
Yeah. So, Soror Dolorosa, it's a pretty interesting because the sound of it is very post-punk. There's new wave influence to it. So yeah, I pretty much enjoyed it because I like those bands like Joy Division. So I could
Yeah.
hear all of those influences on the music. And you've been around now more than 10 years. You started like in the beginning of the
Yeah.
2010s, correct?
The first record was released in 2009, but we started the band in 2002. Because at the beginning of the band, I was drummer. Because me, before being a singer in Soror Dolorosa, I was drummer into black metal bands. So when we created the band in 2002, I was drumming. So for during 5 years, something like that, I was the drummer. And after the lineup changed, and I came to be the lead singer right now.
Okay. Do you have a preference being the lead singer, or did you like doing the drums as well?
I think lead singing is my best now, but because maybe it's with the age. When I was younger, I was maybe more confident into playing some drums. But now I'm very happy with the position of lead singer. Yeah, I like it.
Yeah. So for this new album that you have now, I think you have there's a new guitar player in the mix, and I was
Yeah,
reading that he brought more like because more this is your more of a danceable album for you guys.
absolutely.
How much of his guitar playing change a little bit the sound of Soror
Yeah, yeah.
Dolorosa?
Jean-Baptiste just arrived the band, I think 3 years or 4 years ago, and he just came up in the band with new ideas, and he was composing a lot of beat making and patterns on the computer with drum machines, with keyboards. So he had all those influences with him when he came into the band. He brought us all those this work he made before joining the band. But when he came into the band, we just like have the good feeling that wow, we want to make the same sound, we want to make the same music. So that's why this album is more danceable. It's because of this influence. But with Soror Dolorosa, personally, me, I wanted for a long time to do this. For example, in this album, there is a very good example. There is a song called Red Love, and the Red Love have been composed in 2008. So I just kept it into somewhere into my computer, on the side, and I just released it right now. So I think maybe it's like 15 years after I've been composed or something. So sometimes it takes time, but this idea to make a more danceable music was, I think, since the beginning. So now maybe it's because the band just changed, and like most of bands sometimes make an evolution. Now we are ready to make this sound that we wanted to make since the beginning. But also it's because the drummer left the band, and the drummer was more into classic rock and less into electro or synthwave or stuff like that. So that's why also the band took this direction right now.
So Red Love that you had written that back in 2009. How much did
Yeah.
it change? Did you keep a lot of like the original arrangements, or did you change some stuff?
Basically, the arrangements they had an evolution, but they didn't change that much. The formal demo, it's the same lyrics, the same position, the same choruses, the same harmonics, the same bass line. So the song has just been like arranged and mixed by James from Perturbator, because he made a lot of work with us in doing all the keyboard stuff and stuff like that. So yeah, but the Red Love, it didn't change. So maybe one day I will release the only for fans the demo from 2009, and you will hear it. It's the same song, but it's the sound is less big. Maybe it's more intimate, but the song is absolutely the same.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a cool track. And so you've always been influenced by writers and poets like William Blake and Edgar Allan
Yeah.
Poe. What from their writings really influenced you? Was it the tone? I know more about Edgar Allan Poe.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I read a lot of poetry. It's my favorite literary style. I don't go for too much time for novels. I love poetry. It's really for me very close from the lyrics when you write lyrics into songs. So, and quotes. I like also the quotes, the extract, the short extract, because for me in quotes there is the enough space to imagine what you want, and it's exactly what I try to make when I write some lyrics. It's like making a quote. You say a kind of truth, but there is still space to have your own imagination and interpretation of it. And sometimes into the novels is not like this. And in poetry, for me, it's also this, but with a more personal sense. So for me, Edgar Allan Poe, for example, there is a quote that I took from him at the introduction of the Sugar Moon song, which is one of my favorites in the album. And
That's one of the most danceable songs on track on
yeah,
the album.
you were thinking that. Great, cool.
Yeah.
And what do you think? I don't know about the danceable side of this album compared to the previous one, because there is a lot of change. We were a bit maybe frightened of what the people would think about. Oh, they are making like danceable music now, and before it was like rockish, ballsy, something like that. So we said, okay, let's do it, and what people
It's
will
still
think.
like golf rock dance ability, but I love him, and him had some like maybe like music to them
Yeah.
that you could almost have that feel like you could like dance to it, or it had that commercial appeal. But
I think
yeah.
I think a good song is a song that you can dance on it, even if it's a song from Immortal. But I mean, yeah, for me, a good song is a song that you can like dance on it. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, like in your country in France with rock, because I know you got some metal bands, but you also got some commercial rock bands. How's that vibe for people there when you introduce like maybe that dance element uh, to the
Yeah.
sound of your band?
You mean I didn't understood very well the question. In France, we have a very interesting metal scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is Gojira, there is Alcest, there is Igor, there is Amenra, there is Despan Omega, there is a lot of great bands that I really enjoy.
Yeah, I guess what I
But
was saying, what I was trying to ask, maybe is like, how have the fans reacted to that little bit of like not change completely in sound, but added those dance elements to your music?
oh, I think the fans they understood the thing, because also because we worked with James from Perturbator, and he's
Mhm.
making electro sound from it for metalheads basically.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I think there is a twist that in what we do with post punk and metal scene right now, which is really interesting, and the mid tempo and the danceable grooves come into the metal mood finally. And it's been years now that the Fields of Nephilim or Sisters of Mercy they play at the Hellfest, for example, So there are bands like Grave Pleasures, or it's the guys from X Vessel that doing post punk, and so I think it's very interesting time now because the styles they are like coming closer, and there is like mix of styles and mood, and also the perception we have of the sound, because sometimes it's very important the mood that you are when you listen to a sound, to appreciate it or not. So I think the time now is came to for like goth bands to play into metal festival, and maybe also the opposite. So I think we don't ask the question right now, we just go with the flow.
Yeah, I remember when golf started like becoming cool, like at the end of the 80s and stuff. You seem like a guy, you like are you as much into the music and the aesthetic of golf?
Yeah, the aesthetic of God for me is very important. It's something that made me like, make me dream. The aesthetic of goth is huge. If you go to Joy Division or Sisters of Mercy or Dead Can Dance or Bauhaus or Suxy and the Banshee or The Cure, it's the bands that have like many stories, many times, many period in their existence, because they exist for 50 years or something like that. So it's huge project. It's huge bands, and the deepness and the layers in the inspiration and the aesthetics of those bands are huge. And I think it's very good now to rediscover this style and to welcome this style into something more into the metal. Into I think there is a lot of metal heads now that just discovered the Sisters of Mercy, for example, and they didn't listen to it before, but now they discover it, and I think it's really interesting.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. Plus, the music can be a little bit erotic as well when
Yeah,
you're listening to the album. Well, first of all, you're French. Like, like French people are sexy, like it depends on and his Hispanic people can be sexy too. It depends on where you are. Like you can
yeah,
play that and it can be cool. So you have two singles right now that you
yeah,
chose. You have Turn Up, which is the album. Actually, it opens the album and Obsidian Museum. Tell
yeah.
me a little bit about choosing these singles and the themes that you explore. We can start with Turn Up.
Yeah, Tirada. I think Tirada is maybe it's the more like minimalist and more direct song of the album. Maybe also the most simple. It's very simple. It's very straight to the point. It's very sharp. It's like an emergency. It's and also it's very fluent. You don't ask a question. You cannot like uh, hear something else than the track when you listen to it. It goes straight to the point. So that's why we wanted to release it in the first. I think maybe it's a kind of a song that you will stay after us. I don't know. You never know when you do a song if it will stay or not, or if
Yeah, to
you
hook
people
people
will like
in,
it.
you know.
But the tear it up, for example, for the topic for me was really important because it speaks about the trauma, the child trauma, and how we manage to live with it and to get through that. And I think for me, it's a very important song to express, because I tried before to express this topic in another song which is called "A Dead Yesterday," but I think that was not as straight to the point as much as Tear It Up, and for me it's very important to express it. Yeah,
Okay, and with Obsidian Museum, tell me a little bit about that one.
yeah, it's more mystical and dark. Obsidian Museum is more like related to the 90s and maybe the goth, very goth. It's something very you want to turn off the light and to light up candles and to drink absinthe when you listen to Obsidian Museum. It's like, and it's a bit the continuity of Tear It Up. We wanted to release those singles because they go together. They
Okay.
are very danceable and very straight to the point. The other part of the most progressive and more ambient stuff on the album, we keep it for the release of the album because we wanted to have the people have the whole album to take time to go through those more complex songs and structures. And we wanted to make singles like very simple to catch and very catchy, very easygoing.
And I think it moves the album along. So when you get to the longer, more complex tracks, you can appreciate them because it has some there's some variety in the album.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's good.
yeah, the artwork, I want to show the artwork of the album.
Yeah.
Which is pretty sexy as well.
Uh,
So here we have who's the model in the cover?
Hey, in the cover, it's my wife. It's
Okay.
yeah, it's my wife. It's my muse. It's the model that I showed a lot right now. And this cover, I had a vision like maybe 3-4 years ago, and I have exactly this vision. And but I made a sketch, with a drawing, but I didn't know if I would be able to do it because it's kind of complex picture. It's like a perfume advertising from the 80s or something like that. I was very
Oh yeah.
inspired by the advertising of a perfume of the opium from Yves Saint Laurent. This kind of stuff. I wanted to have something very precious and unreachable like this. Like something to dream of. And we took one whole day to shoot it, and that was very intense. On this cover, there is almost no retouch. The retouch is only the moon that I put as a post production. But on the original picture, I shot the moon with a part of paper like this. I just put the moon, and so this cover is kind of raw. We just added the rays in the logo in the center, and for me, it's the total expression of the album. It's an album that goes through different state of mind, and it was kind of hard for me to project to a picture that be able to illustrate every feeling that you can feel listening to the album. But I think this picture managed to do that and to take the kind of eroticism, but to awake the mind into a kind of contemplation and dream. Yeah, it's very important to go to dreaming.
Yeah, no, and it's everything's strategically placed. So yeah, it's a cool album artwork. So it's good that you have your wife to be your muse and to
She
have her,
made an amazing job in posing because I asked her during hours to take this fucking position, which is not
It
not
doesn't look
really
very comfortable.
easy, and she made a great job. So thanks to her, because if she couldn't take this position, I think the picture should have not exists.
Yeah. So when you're picking album names, how strategic are you with the names? Because Mond, tell me a little bit about the meaning of the album name.
Yeah, Mond means moon in German, but
Yeah, yeah.
also Monde means world in French. When you say say world, you say le monde, and when you say le monde, it's just le monde without the e at the end. So basically, it's the same word to say moon or world if you compare German and French. So I think we are very close to German culture because our label is from Germany, and we go to play in Germany very often, and we like to play in Germany because the German audience is great with us. They really appreciate us at the Wave Gothic Treffen and this kind of festival. So maybe it was a kind of, homage also of what we see in the sky. So somehow is a kind of a moon, but also a
Mhm.
world for us or for the German people. And it's very short world, and it's very catchy and intense, and very enigmatic in the same time.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. And I know that you recorded this. It says at a home. Did you have a home studio where you recorded this album?
Yes, we made the text, and the pre-production in the text we made ourselves during, I think, 2 years. It's Jean-Baptiste, the guitar player, is also a guitar teacher in his life, and also a music producer. So he's able to produce the sounds and to help me, for example, to record the vocals with a good microphone and preamps and stuff like that. So we made the takes and the production in ourselves. Sometimes when you do a take, you need someone else to coach you, to say, okay, man, you can keep it or not. So we just stood, the three of us, doing this job, this task. So that was kind of album made with a no producer. We were our own producer, because James from Perturbator made the arrangement and the mix, but he didn't make the production. He didn't decide on what the song should be or not. So we made this album in our cocoon, in our rehearsal and our intimacy, and that's why also maybe why the album is very, very personal, and
Mhm.
it was a great way to go through it. I think we're going to make the same process maybe in the next records.
Yeah, it's. I think a lot of like bands are doing that. That instead of like super like expensive studio, uh, do it
I think
themselves. And
it's also the world of today that allowed us to do that. And also, we have to say that we don't have the budget to go for months into studio right now. There is a low amount of band that have the budget for that. So if you don't have the budget, the best solution to reach a big precision is to work hard on your sound, to know how to manage your sound, and to do it yourself.
yeah. And Andy, do you think like because I've seen like documentaries and stuff that say like the rooms where they do the music like also influence a lot of the sound of the music.
It's true.
How would you say? Would you say you agree with that? Like where you record the music like plays a part in what it sounds like?
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes it's true. It's kind of decisive, but when you record, it's something. But when you compose, it's something else. And for me, when I record, the room is not that important. But when I compose it, when the song is coming, sometimes yes, it's very important to be, in a room, in a special place, or it can come to you um, a vision, a real vision, something mystical, or yeah, very
Yeah.
interesting. So there is a place that we really enjoy, and we go there to rehearse. It's a chateau in the south of France. It's called the
That sounds
Chateau.
nice.
Yeah, a chateau H, like just the, and it's a friend of us that owns his castle, and we would go there and we rehearse for hours and hours, and it's a place amazing. We have we are out of the world, and it's very good because when you compose it and we're into a place like this, you can go further and further than just staying in your apartment. If you live in the city or whatever, you
Mm,
are
yes.
you're traveling, and you make people travel with you when you write songs. It's a
Yeah, no,
part of
it's
the style of Soror Dolorosa as well to do that.
yeah, that sounds like a cool place to rehearse at a chateau, like like
Absolutely, absolutely. It's a great
castle.
place. It's in a small village, there is fields all around, and there is nobody to disturb you. It's so cool, man. There is a big fireplace with the fire cracking in the winter. It's amazing, and good wine.
No, yeah, with wine. So
Yeah.
so you with the style of music that you listen to, like which albums would you recommend for people so they can be, you know, sexy and cool like you? For
Oh,
sexy times, album for sexy times that
okay,
you would
okay. I will
recommend.
make some recommendation. Like, it's not a danceable music, but it's a band called Bogen and the Club of Gore. Maybe you know them. It's a German band, and they do a very slow jazz, but with a like an ambience like Twin Peaks. You know, the music of Twin Peaks from Angelo Badalamenti, and I really enjoyed it a lot. So I listen a lot for soundtracks and music from movies from the 70s and stuff like that. It's really my thing. And electro ambience like Aphex Twin also, and shoegaze like Slow Dive. I mean, I also like classic rock, like Led Zeppelin. I'm a big fan, So there's a on mix of that. But if I have one something to say to people at Bohan and the Club of Gore. It's amazing, and they made an album that I really enjoy. It's called Sunset Mission. This album is a fucking masterpiece. It's very slow jazz, but it's not jazz like a it's a very like ambient, like the Ulver Perdition City. You see, I love Ulver also. I'm a big fan of Ulver. So yeah, it's very interesting. There is this ambience of like dark movies from the 30s.
Mhm.
So I think it's very nice with a good whiskey, yeah, and a good glass of wine. This kind of record is best for me.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. So the album is gonna be out October the 4th.
Yeah.
So what are the plans? When are you going to like do some shows around the record?
Yeah, right now we just announced it, but we go back to the church that we made the video clip of Tear It Up. We made
Mhm.
the shooting into a church, a classic church from the 17th century, which is a beautiful place. And we go back there to make the release party the 22nd of November. We go
Nice,
make a
yeah.
special show in this place to release the album and to have the record to sell for the first time because we don't have it yet. We didn't.
So
So
yeah, it's gonna
the
be out digitally on the 4th, but
yeah,
you'll
on the
have it.
fourth it will be out. It will be out, but digitally, I think the pre-order they started now, but it will be out also physically on the fourth. But we're gonna
Yeah,
make the
because
concert.
there's a 36-page hardcover like art book, so it's almost like a book that you
Yeah.
have. What can fans expect on that
Oh yeah,
36
it's
pages?
very so the question is great because we made the art book also for another reason, because we also made another CD inside. There's two CDs that we
Mm.
re-recorded 6 tracks of the old album that now we're playing with a drum machine and with keyboard and with new arrangements that are more close from Mond. So for example, there is a song like Autumn that people they know it because
Mhm.
they listened to it like for years. But we made a new version, which is a mood closer from the mood of Mond. And now we also play the song on stage with the drum machine. So we wanted to make a new version, a bit more accelerated, a bit more punchy. So that's we wanted to make. And this CD is on the art book of Mond. There is also it's called Aurora, and it's 6 tracks from the past album that we absolutely re-recorded and with a new chain of sound. It's not only a mix; it's new versions.
Yeah, how many copies do you have? Because yeah, that sounds like a cool thing for the fans of
I,
the
I
band.
I don't know about the copies. Maybe it's like 700 or 1,000. I don't know.
Okay.
I think the labor
You
they just
you need to
didn't
say
prove it.
limited.
Yeah, it will be limited. Yes, it will be limited. So, and also the LP will be the first press will be limited. But I think the art book will be limited. And when it will be over, I think there will be maybe a regular version of the CD that will be out. So I think the art book maybe will not last for so long into the stocks.
Okay, yeah, cool.
I
So
also
yeah, so yeah, no, I had that information. People, I thinking fans would like to know that there's like a 36 page booklet, and there's extra things. So you're giving the fans, a lot of
Yeah.
music for them to have.
There is in the art book there is also a lot of pictures and a lot of illustrations of all this process of finally 7 years we took to re-record a few songs of our old album and make a new record. So we wanted to make an art book to go through all the 7 years we spent in working on it.
Yeah, no, yeah, 7 years, yeah, can be a long time, but a lot of things have happened. So, finally you'll be out, and November 22nd, you're going to do the album release in a church. That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it would be cool. So I'll post the link for people who want to pre-order the record or want to know more about the band. So Andy, I want to, thank you for taking some time to chat with me about Soror Dolorosa and Mond. I
Thank
think I
you
said it
for having
correctly
us.
now.
Yeah.
Yes. So yeah, it's a cool album, and if you like all the bands that we've been discussing, I think it's a sound that people will enjoy. So, anything you like to say to the fans before we go today?
Yeah, I think the next year we really want to go into the US and maybe South America. So I think maybe that will be the time for us to finally come. And we have touched with some promoters. So I think uh, maybe God's sake, yeah, I would like to come into the US to play. It's a dream for years, and I hope so to see you guys soon.
Awesome. So again, Andy, thank you for joining me from your chateau in France to my couch here in Puerto Rico. It's been great
Thank you
chatting
very
with
much.
you. So until next time, couchers, this is Hector, the shield dude on a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you and goodbye.